Hey everyone, welcome to JoJo's World.
Good evening and hello.
Hello again, Nick.
Yes, hello again. I'm glad we're seeing all of this happen again for a second
I'm glad I'm
time.
seeing you with my ears today twice because Western Australia has entered a lockdown in response to our first community transmission in about 12 months. So as a result, we recorded remotely this morning a podcast on 2 episodes of Revolutionary Girl Lieutenant, and then your treacherous computer destroyed the audio rather than letting us release a perfect podcast.
I said, okay, computer, save this project as this. And it said, no. And here we are recording a second time, just as it demands.
We are very happy about our own personal Endless 8 situation, where we have the same conversation and we know we're having the same conversation again, but we can't stop ourselves.
It's like you're watching Endless 8, except you're the robot lady, and we're both the robot lady. So
we're both the robot lady and the idiots having the conversation on the balcony.
Yes, exactly. Where it's like, hey, could we save that data? Well, I certainly can't. I require a certain something that I lack, you know? And that certain something was my audio.
This morning we recorded a podcast on 2 episodes. Episode 18, Mitsuru's Growing Pains, which is a Tsuwabuki and Nanami episode. And episode 19, The Song of the Fallen Kingdom, which is a Wakaba episode. And rather than subjecting ourselves to double duty for both of those today, we are going to be smashing out that Tsuwabuki episode now. Quick recap discussion. I think it's going to be a little unhinged, because I think we're probably both a bit punch drunk from the... and also regular drunk.
Yeah,
from
I mean, we're both just like, oh my god, just get the beer. Come on, just get the beer. So, yeah.
So looking forward to that. And then next week we will handle Wakaba Flourishing... Song of the Fallen Kingdom, which I think segues on kind of a cliffhanger into second half Wakaba Flourishing episode 20. So that'll be a good pairing in the end.
Hey, speaking of segues and good pairings.
Yeah.
Did you know that we have a Patreon? It's a pretty good Patreon.
I did, because we talked about it earlier today.
Yeah. Oh, so you already know that there is in fact a Well, this...
Nick,
this is going to come...
It's all a loop. We've had this conversation before.
What? That face that he makes, then immediately followed by, how many times have we had this conversation?
We've recorded this podcast 31,645 times.
So then you already know that the patron on my mind is David Andresen.
David Andresen? Why, that's not a name I've heard before.
I'm breaking the loop. That's it.
There are some variations, like there are 18,000 variations where we didn't talk about MechWatch 2021. More on that in a moment.
But first, let's pivot back to the key moment that we all have here, which is David Andresen.
David Andresen, a patron of patreon.com/JoJo's World, the only Patreon that will kill people for money.
Are you saying that we're private contract hitmen now?
Hired guns. Soldiers without
money.
Anything that they like.
Look, all that we can say is that we will do anything for money. I think that's a fair assumption to make between us. But
I think
David
it's fair
Andresen
to say.
Doesn't want much from us. He just wants us to talk and be merry.
Thank you, David.
You are saving us from becoming hitmen.
Thank you, David, for supporting this production of JoJo's World.
You're a smart and beautiful person, I assume.
Nick?
Yes.
There's just... I tried to take stock after we lost the episode of bits we lost that I wanted to revisit.
Go on.
And there's only one of them that I feel like deserves to be recounted.
Ooh, is it the part where we talked at length about Star Wars?
No, but
damn it.
Try to imagine that. Try to imagine that occurrence, which has never happened before, listener.
It's in my mind. Wait, no, it's not. Wait, hang on.
Actually, we did talk a good bit about the Gungans and the membrane of their bubble city.
I talked at length and got very angry because I was like, if you walk through the fiber, doesn't it make you dry? So like...
It's a differentially permeable membrane, maybe.
And I got confused about the rebreathers that the Jedi used and the Gungans living underwater.
Nick, have you looked into that at all since then?
No, of course I haven't looked into it because I forgot, because I needed you to remind me from that audio recording. And now I'm going to need you to remind me again.
And that audio recording is lost. so I will never remind you.
Oh my god. It's gone. It's gone forever. This is like an episode of Clone Wars that never got released. It's just gone.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, Nick, there actually were several episodes that were like that eventually got released.
What, of Clone Wars?
Yeah, the famous Disney Plus Season 5.
But wasn't that the final season of...
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's not, like, not released. That's... They were gonna get released. They just didn't release them yet because, let's be real, they wanted to make the money, right? Disney wanted to make that sweet cash, and they gave them the means to Star Wars.
No, the bit I wanted to revisit was we went on what I thought was quite a clever riff about the Revolutionary Girl Lieutenant student community's dating app, Bloomer.
Bloomer. God, I remember
Which came
it so
about from, like, we were talking about, like, if they had iPhones, they would all have roses on them where the apples were, because everything in this show is rose-themed, and Toga Kiryu would be on his rose-themed dating app, Bloomer, and we sort of broke down why it would be called that, because he's a, massive pervert who's always hitting on women who are coming of age, and he himself is as well. The rose link, obviously, and also because it's a synonym for women's underwear.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, it was a really good bit. And listener, trust us when we say it was such a good bit.
Tears in the rain. It was such a good bit that the Patriots suppressed it.
Is this the first official Patriot suppressed episode?
I was actually thinking about this, like, a couple of weeks ago, whether we've had any lost episodes. I think there was some back in the early days when I lived in Bassendean, where we may have, like, lost the first 20 minutes or something like that, but I don't know if we've lost an entire episode before.
We've lost one. I know that we have lost one that we've had to re-record before, but I don't think we ever mentioned it quite in the same degree as we're doing now.
I think we'll get this out of our system at the top of the episode, and then we'll be more normal.
Today was such a brutal, like, what?
I was just really happy with that episode, you know?
It was, listener, if you can find that episode somewhere, deep in the trenches, deep in the trenches of, I was about to say some vault in the Texan desert, please, by all means, give it back to us. It was a good app. And now we're going to recreate it from the ground up. And this time...
The veil is drawn. Now we have entered our characters of ourselves from this morning.
And this time I'm going to hit Control-S and not Control-Shift-S. But I've also updated everything, which is nice.
Hooray!
So I got that, right? Updating is such a great process in 2021,
MechWatch 2021!
Tell me more!
No.
I feel like I should turn that into a real riff now. Yes, go on.
Do it, yeah. This past week, I have been on leave from work for relaxing reasons. And I asked on Twitter, because I got a wild hair up my brain that I wanted to watch a giant robot show.
I'll cheers to that. That's a great idea.
So people suggested some good things to me, notably this show that I watched this week, Tengan Toppa Gurren Lagann.
Which I believe was meant to be just Gurren Lagann to both of us, but is in fact not. No, I've got that the wrong way round. Because we both thought it was just Gurren Lagann, right?
I don't think it's important.
I can't remember. These are important details that are lost to time.
People suggested that to me if it was me asking, and some other shows if it was you asking, but I didn't absorb those because they weren't relevant to me.
What? How am I meant to know? I don't check the Twitter. Give me those names.
If only there was some way you could go and look at that.
Which there isn't, I'll have you know. I'm not going to get spoilers from part 6. Come on, man. Come on. I'm not going on there. Anyway, what did you find out?
So I watched all of the show this week. Mm-hmm. And we did talk about this morning, so I'm not going to rehash the whole thing, but some key takeaways.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I felt like the show had a really good sense of, like, style and action, and I liked how the themes of growing up and not being defined by where you're born or who raised you.
Like, you come from a hole, but you go on to just get a giant mech and lead a band of merry men.
And you grow based on the experiences you have, which is reflected in the mechs by them just, like, jacking the shit of all the enemies they fight.
It's like, if there was a way to metaphor a mech battle, it would be by making a mech battle another mech.
Yeah, sure. But I think we talked about this, how mechs in the show are kind of like a metaphor for the self-actualization tier of Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
I remember this. So you were saying...
Where So, like, all the time in the show, if they're emotionally unstable or they're hungry or they're tired, their robots don't operate at peak capacity. But if they're in a good state with those lower order needs, then their robots become more powerful than ever and they can achieve their goals.
So, as with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, where the bottom rung of needing food is satisfied, you level up your mech.
Yeah, and it becomes a bigger mech.
Like some kind of beautiful mech pyramid scheme.
And the other main theme was like how there's all these guys who are like vaguely fascist, all these old men who are in charge being like, I'm making my people suffer, but it's for their own good. And then the protagonists see that and like, hey, how about you don't do that and we just fucking kill you and then we kill whoever you're afraid of that's making you act like this too. Where it's just like a rejection of the sort of storytelling paradigm of hard men making hard choices.
Now, I'd forgotten what that meant from this morning. So what did that mean again?
So, like, throughout the whole, like, first arc of the show, there's all these guys. There's the guy in the village who they grew up in, who doesn't let anyone go to the surface. There's the guy in the next village they go to who says that if there's more than 50 people in the village, someone has to leave or die. And then there's the Spiral King, who is like...
the worst.
He's like, I've got to make all these beast men to control the human population, otherwise aliens will kill us all. Anyway, so they encounter all these guys and they're like, no, you're just being a fucking coward because you're afraid to face up to something bigger than you, but we're not, so we'll get you out of the way, then we'll deal with that too.
So what you're saying is... in fact, I do remember you explicitly stating, the one contribution I have to this MechWatch 2021 section is that you thought that the Spiral guy was very boring.
No, I thought that the spiral metaphor of like the galaxy and the DNA helix and blah 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 was like an interesting enough little bit of symbolism.
But the
then
guy,
just there were all these not the guy, just all these long monologues about the spiral energy represents growth, so we anti-spirals have rejected it. Blah 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 blah.
And you're just like, get on with it, man.
Yeah. Just like have a normal conversation.
Yeah, but we love spirals, right? Cinnamon scrolls.
And then the final antagonists, the anti-spirals, because they've rejected the spiral, which symbolizes growth, are like the spirit of conservatism distilled, because they want everything to be the same forever, because the spiral represents risk.
Fucking Republicans.
It's true.
Oh, God. That's it.
And then things that I liked less were not enough good cockpit hardware, because it's all like this emotional mental link with the robots. That means that they're just classic 2 joysticks and yelling mech controls to make it do all this complicated martial arts.
Yeah, you want your switches and your like throttle pedals as well.
Yeah.
You want your Pacific Rim
level. A lot of
level
buttons to press.
Yeah.
Like in the Big O, he's got these 2 joysticks on a rail in front of him, and the position on the rail represents, like, pulling back for the punch.
When you say represents...
controls?
Yeah, I was about to say, it's like, that's not a metaphor, that's just how he controls the mech.
But, like, you know, obviously, because it's a fictional show, you can have basically any action.
Yes.
Like, it doesn't have to be a one-to-one consistent thing.
So
just when we see him push the thing back along the rail, and then we see the robot make a similar wind-up for a punch motion, and we understand that that's what represents that control, right?
Yes. I was just thinking the engineer who built it wouldn't just be like, so this joystick represents the motion of making a punch. He'd just be like, you make a punch with this one.
And other things I didn't like were annoyingly horny shows sometimes.
But Liam, come on now. Come on, you can't be... Come on, Nick. Come on now.
I liked that there was like a prominent, openly gay character, but I felt like they did too many, a gay person's talking to me, I better threaten to kill him jokes.
I don't understand. What were these jokes that you mentioned? Like, what?
Like, it was like every time that they wanted to do a joke with this character, he would just say, well, you're looking pretty fresh now that you've cleaned up. And then the person would like draw a sword and say, don't touch me, I'll kill you.
Just seems really odd. I don't remember that happening like every episode.
So much of it.
Yeah. I don't like the idea of it, but it does sound...
And like we talked this morning about how like the gay panic defense is still a legal thing in various places. Like not great fodder for jokes.
Which is depressing as fuck. But yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, MechWatch 2021 may continue if I watch more mech things that I haven't seen before. Currently watching Bubblegum Crisis Tokyo 2040.
Oh, is that the one with boomers?
Yeah.
God, I can't help but hate boomers.
I can't help but hate boomers.
You
boomers
sent
are just
me...
here They say they're here to help us, but I don't trust them.
What were the images that you sent me? Because you were getting very excited about boomers.
Oh yeah, so
As you were.
I thought when I started watching this, I thought I'd send a couple of my friends just like some of the jokes where they say mean, well, not jokes.
Just the dialogue, yeah.
They've become jokes because of shorthanding boomers to baby boomer to boomer. So I thought I'd send them my friends a few of those, but then there was like 6 in the first 10 minutes, and I was like, okay, that's too many.
One of them that you sent to me was just, you don't need to apologize to a boomer, even if you are a new employee. I was like,
Yeah.
what?
Somehow I can't help hating boomers.
It's so good. Like, I want to watch it just for the boomer jokes that weren't jokes, but are now jokes.
Well, Nick, we'll have to add it to the JoJo's World watch list, which it's already on then.
And I don't know if you heard that. That was me writing down boomer on my like notepad page. Actually, wait, no, that's just my desk. I just wrote on my desk. Yep.
They could never remake the show because then there would be a bit where they're about to like crush an enemy robot and someone would like turn to the camera and wink and say, "Okay, boomer," and then we'd all put our foot through our TVs out of rage.
It would be like the bit from Shaun of the Dead where he looks in the camera, winks with the beer. Except it would be exactly the same as that. So like they'd be like, okay,
it would be
boomer.
like that. It would be like
Yeah.
that, but it would also be like any joke from an Avengers movie that makes you want to scream.
That's almost every joke in an Avengers movie.
Exactly.
Or any one-liners from any Avengers movie. Like the last bit of spoiler alert, when Iron Man gets the Infinity Gauntlet, and he snaps and he's like just sitting there. Fucking
Why did you add in that of awe?
because it's like Iron Man got it. That was the first big Marvel film. He's everyone's favorite. It's like, well, of course he gets the fucking Infinity Gauntlet. It couldn't be Captain America. It couldn't have been Hulk. It couldn't have been anyone. It couldn't have been Wolverine. Could get the licensing for Wolverine. Today is an angry day, man. I'm very angry about a lot of topics that I shouldn't be angry about, you know?
Nick, why don't I calm you with a reading from the production notes for Revolutionary Girl Utena?
Save me from myself, please.
Episode 18, Mitsuru's Growing Pains.
Tell me more.
When I was a kid, I really liked the Candies, a 70s idol group. When someone asked me, who's your favourite, I was seriously torn between Ran and Sue. When I was a kid, I really liked Pink Lady too. Someone asked me, who's your favourite? I liked Mie, but for some reason I had the feeling that I shouldn't say that. So I fudged and said, well, I don't really like one more than the other. The Candies got their big break with the song. Oh, I struggled to say this last time and I'm going to struggle this time.
This one is going to be no different. Here we go.
Toshishita no Otoko no Ko, parentheses, younger boy.
That was pretty good. That was actually pretty good.
It was a song where the girl sang about a younger boy. You drive me crazy, but I love you. That lyric made my heart go pitter-patter. It was just as if they were saying, I love you, to me. How delusional. Love and delusion are only separated by a very fine line.
And that fine line, Liam, I actually don't know what it would be.
That fine line is the tip of Nanami's sword.
That fine line is Nanami's opinion of you.
The first half of this note is very much like me asked to have an opinion on anything. Like, oh, I don't really like to play favourites.
I mean, I enjoyed these two people, but I also enjoyed this one. If I had to pick one, it would be this.
I like Josuke, but I also like Jonathan.
What about Joseph? And you're just there going,
yes.
Get out of here with that.
Me in the supermarket aisle with 2 cans of tomato sauce being like, Jonathan? Jotaro.
Everyone's just looking at you from afar. Is he okay?
I need to pick my favourite JoJo.
Should we help him in some way? No, just leave him. He'll
You
get
can't
there.
help him.
You can't help him. I can't help but not help Liam. I don't know where that joke was going. Anyway.
Okay. You can't help the Liam that can't help you. So help the Liam who can help you. Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann.
That's not the lesson. But okay, I'll take it. Hang on. Can I help the Liam by recapping the start of this episode?
Yeah, why don't you go?
Okay, I'll get this. Wait, hang on. This is the one where we start and it's raining.
That's correct.
Yes! Oh my god, okay. It's raining, there's a student council meeting.
Yeah, they've all got their color-coded umbrellas on the platform.
And each one of them corresponds to their normal fighting uniform. Like, so Mickey's is blue umbrella, Naname's is a yellow umbrella, and...
I mean, that's also just their normal uniforms, not just their normal fighting uniforms.
Yeah. Now, I remember they talk about something unimportant about, oh, is the end of the world doing something?
Yeah, so, well, the Student Council are sad this episode because they've started to realise that they're not the main antagonists anymore.
They notice that there are other duels happening and they want in.
Yeah. They're not getting notes from End of the World anymore. Someone keeps turning them into swords. It's just not fitting of their stature.
Exactly. They need those duels.
And yeah, so Nanami realizes that it happened to Juri too, and they keep doing this thing where, like, two episodes in a row now, or two sword fights in a row now, she asks Mickey and then Juri, like, what was it like? Did it hurt? And I think, like, it's meant to be like she's asking them about having sex for the first time.
But obviously it's not quite, it's not that.
Well, I'm sure pulling a sword out of someone is a very intimate act in itself, but...
When you swallow a sword from someone, you have to pull it out as well. And that is you don't just wake up in the morning and pull out someone's sword, if you know what I'm saying,
I don't.
I mean, neither do I, but I mean, at the same time, I think the metaphor
Suwabuki's here.
So Suwabuki walks in, right?
He's like, oh, it's raining, Nanami. Your gym class is in the gym now, your phys ed class. So I've brought you your basketball shoes. And then Mickey and Juri are like, hey, you're not allowed up here.
And Nanami, I remember, just goes, aren't I the student council president now?
Yeah, can't I bring anyone I want up here?
Come on, I'm all powerful. Kiryu's in a catatonic state. I can do what I want.
Oh, my sweet precious brother.
So I think Suwabuki yet again rebuffed.
Yeah, so he's like, what was that all about? And she looks down her nose at him like, don't worry, it's adult talk. And he's very worried this episode that he's a child.
That he's not an adult. But
this is a problem that will solve itself. Right?
Look, given the application of time and, I guess, schooling, maybe.
And resources, like food and oxygen.
Yep, just a few resources that are very important. He will just become an adult. But do we want that? Because in generations to come, he will be hated for it, for being an adult. God knows I hate adults.
In, probably 30, 35 years, he'll have a more acceptable age difference between himself and Nanami, and he'll get all his dreams.
He'll finally be allowed.
Except he won't, because she's still in love with her brother.
So we just need to take him out of the picture. But that's not what we're doing this episode. This episode, he's just being nice, being Suwabuki, just like, oh, I brought you your stuff, and then getting rebuffed.
Quick cutaway to Anthe and Utena being like, it sure is raining. Look, there goes Nanami and Suwabuki. He sure is her butler.
Yeah. Seems like a healthy power dynamic that they have there.
Yeah.
Like you and
he
me,
seems
Utena.
very happy with that whole situation, and then cut to him sulking in the shoe locker room.
And he's just like, they don't get me.
No. And there's this little girl there. She's 1 year older than him. Her name's Mari.
Mari, which I keep thinking is Marie, but it's Mari.
Yep, it's a me, Marie.
It's a me, a Marie. That's all I got.
I'm just happy to be near her. Oh, you're so twisted. You need a more normal relationship.
You just don't get me, Mari.
Yeah.
You need to get me. You need to think like me.
And then Nanami comes by and sees their argument, and Mari slaps Suwabuki and runs off, and she's like, who was that? Oh, that's just some girl I know.
Ooh. And Nanami doesn't take it the wrong way yet.
No, Nanami, surprisingly, does not start plotting to kill Mari.
Not yet.
But he's walking her home, holding an umbrella above her in the rain, which is quite a feat, because she is much taller than he is.
And I think this is the part where Nanami just keeps basically just dismissing all of Suwabuki's desires to be with, just be around her.
Yeah, you're a kid, but you don't act very cute. I just like being with you.
And he just keeps being like, oh, but, it's just nice to hang. And she's like, I guess.
I guess.
I'm gonna go now.
And then in the elementary school dorms, it's later, and he has bought all these groceries to make Nanami's lunch for the next day. And Mari is like, God, it's making all this lunch for Nanami. Why don't you pay more attention to people your own age, like me, for instance?
And he just goes, don't be ridiculous, all right? You don't get me, man. Okay, you don't get me. I'm me. I get me. It's just nice, and I like doing nice things.
Mari says that Nanami's a real black widow.
Which
gonna use you up and then throw you away.
It'll use you up, spit you out, Spirit Crusher, Death, 1998, or somewhere around then. Or maybe it was 2004.
I don't know what this is.
This is a musical reference. It's very obscure, but Death was mainstream enough for me to make it. Someone out there is going to be hearing this and going, fuck yeah, love Death.
Yep. Love Nick's references to obscure metal bands from the 80s or 90s.
Well, they're not even that obscure because this guy... Let me break it down for you, Liam, all right? Here we go. So, there was a guy in 98 who made death metal. His name was Chuck, and that's not a joke. He wore sandals on stage, and he was just lovable, but for some reason he was hardcore and wrote a song about his neighbor. That actually would work in that beat, now that I say it. Literally, he made a song that was like, his neighbor complained they were making too much noise, and he was like, are you kidding me, lady? Are you kidding me? Really? And then they complained about the dog, and he was like, are you kidding me, lady? We are trying our hardest not to disrupt you here. And she was like, well, how dare you make noise for a living? He was like, I'm going to write a song about this lady. So he did. I think it was called
The Lady That Wouldn't Shut Up.
Something like that. It's like, something like the lair of the mountain queen or something. And the whole metaphor is just, yeah, she's kind of a bitch. Like, no one likes her. Let's just, pretend she's not there. And then kill her in the music, and then promptly not do that in real life.
Yeah, a little upsetting.
Yeah, it's a healthy coping mechanism, don't worry.
You just don't know Miss Nanami's good points, he says. Her many, many good points, like...
She wears an outfit, she goes to school.
She's been to India.
She has a brother.
She loves her brother very much.
She is capable of speech.
She is capable of murder.
She has indeed helped her brother using the two aforementioned skills in many ways.
She's got ready access to clothes that get melted by champagne.
She is very sympathetic of bovine animals and their needs.
And their fashion.
Knows
how to throw a good party.
But only for herself.
Yeah,
but still,
anatomy-focused party.
Damn good party, though. She's also my girlfriend, so fuck you, Mari.
So there's a whole bit about, like, if she eats this banana, I'll be satisfied. Ew, Suwabuki, that's dirty.
And Suwabuki is like, what? The hell does that mean?
And she runs off, leaving behind a half-eaten chocolate bar. And he's like, do adults even eat chocolate? Goes to eat it, but no, I can't, because that would represent an indirect kiss between me and Mari, and I'm saving all those sort of feelings for Nanami as an adult.
Yeah, I'm keeping it all in for her.
Keeping it all in for God.
We've been there. Oh, man. I remember.
Okay, so this scene... You go.
Well, I was going to say, I remember there have been people in my life who started off... This is going to make me sound like an old man, right? I remember back in my day, there were people who would say, oh, I'm just saving up for the right person. And then that was in like first year uni, right? Come third year uni, they were like, mate, let me bloody tell you.
Hogs.
Yeah. So they went from like one end of the spectrum to the other.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty common
opinion to
transition.
Take. Yeah. But the thing is, at some point in the middle, I want to know, like, what made them shift, Because people on that end of the spectrum are like, I'm just saving it. I'm just, it's very important to me.
If I can answer that question with a bit of onomatopoeia, Nick.
Go on then.
If I actually can.
I heard a keyboard. The hell was that?
That was me cracking open a cold one with the boys.
Oh, bloody nice, mate. Bloody nice. I wish I had easier access to beer right now. This is the struggles of... The WA lockdown is like, first community.
Well, particularly because
case.
you live in quite an isolated area too.
True, I live in quite an... Yeah, I mean, my neighbours are literally acres away. So, yeah. But enough about me.
Yeah, quite an important scene happens here because Suwabuki is taking Nanami her lunch, fried chicken with asparagus and bacon, and Nanami is speaking to none other than Shoji Mikage, the antagonist of this arc.
Why is she talking to him?
The first time since Mickey spoke to him in the first episode he was introduced that he's spoken to someone that isn't the Rose Groom, I think.
Oh, I do remember why.
Or someone he's not actively brainwashing.
Yeah, he's talked to a lot of people. All of them went downhill very quickly after meeting him. I remember that he wanted to invite Nanami to the seminar.
That's right, the Mikage seminar.
Which still hasn't happened.
She accepted the invitation and was like, let's go get lunch. Oh, do you want to come too, Suwabuki? Oh, no, you don't need to invite him, says Nanami. He's just a child. Just a child. And the screen, like, cracks and he falls into a pit of despair.
That doesn't happen, but
No.
it really does. You literally, it's like a good silence and then a cutaway to him being like, just a child.
The exact second his heart ripped in half.
Oh, you don't have to pay attention to him. He's just a child.
So now we're treated to like the only, like second of two pre-duel Utena scenes in this episode.
Yep.
Because we talked about this in the last recording, about how like these Black Rose...
Lost recording. Yep.
These Black Rose episodes... They're character pieces on the person who gets Black Rose brainwashed and their relationship with the student council member to various extents. But like, if it weren't for the fact that her name is on the show, Utena wouldn't really need to be here.
Yeah, she just kind of hangs, has a bit of a chat with them beforehand, and then fights them. But there's nothing necessarily I think you were saying there's nothing necessarily driving her internally to actually enact any change.
She's got plenty of reason for it, though, because her new friends or old acquaintances keep getting brainwashed into trying to defeat her in a sword fight and kill her friend/girlfriend.
Yeah, but
so
she doesn't.
She's got plenty of reason to try and actively pursue something behind this, but all she does is hang out with Akio and have coffee.
Oh, look, maybe it's just a series of odd coincidences, you know? Maybe, I mean, you don't know. Maybe it's only 5 and we're done, you know? 5 then thrive. That's what I say. You know?
Okay.
You start off, you're like, oh, that's one person who's been brainwashed. Oh, 2, okay. 3, ooh, maybe there's something to it. 4.
3's a pattern.
Oh, hang on a minute. Nah, hang on. 4, 5. Okay, we're done. Yeah, surely there can't be more.
5, they've kind of run out of people I know by this point, so we're probably good.
You know, it's like lightning strikes. After about 4 or 5, you're like, oh, there can't be more. There can't be more.
I only really know Wakaba and the 4 student council members, so...
That's like my entire group of friends, and I'm really not friends with any of them except Mickey, so...
Black Rose people have to start going to like C-tier characters, like those 3 identical boys.
Oh god, yes, please. Have like a massive gang-up situation where they are all voiced, and they all speak in unison.
Yep, and Utena obliterates them in moments.
Literally, they're like, we will fight for Shing, done.
Doesn't even need to do the Prince move.
Oh, that'd be amazing. That'd be incredible. I would legitimately watch that episode.
So these, I know you will, we're going to watch them all.
Of course. So Suwabuki is feeling bad.
Yeah, and those 3 boys are actually in this scene because Suwabuki's in the library reading about what it means to be an adult, and Utena and Anthe weigh in that being an adult means having experience in certain things. And all the horny weird boys are like, certain things?
And Suwabuki's like, the fuck does that even mean? Which I think all of us could relate to when we were 8 years old.
Yeah.
You know, when an adult...
And then we transition from there to Utena's regular tea therapy session with Akio, Anthe's older brother, being like, is it weird that I dream about my prince? Someone asked me what it meant to be an adult lately, and I thought, like, am I an adult or a child? Like, I've got these childish fantasies, but also I'm growing up, so what am I doing here?
Well, he responds with, well, what do you think you are?
He responds with, you know, I was thinking about space while you were talking.
That's right. Fuck. I remember because I misread the subtitles and thought he said, you know, the thing about the stars is that they're like billionaires or something. I was like...
No, what he said was, with every passing year, stars lose a bit of their brilliance.
Ah, that's right. Stars lose a bit of their billions. If only
he's
that's
like,
how the real world works.
And Utena says, wow, your star's shining at its brightest, Mr. Chairman, with your pretty wife and all. And he's a little like, perhaps. Now, we haven't seen my pretty wife since you defeated her in a sword fight while she was brainwashed.
We haven't seen her since you murdered her in cold blood, Utena. Yeah, so she has that little chat, and then we get a weird glimpse over at Anthe?
No, that's the next episode.
Oh, forget.
The parallel spoilers. Scene in the next episode. Anthe isn't present for this one.
Cut it from this app. That's it.
No.
Oh, okay. All right. Natural dialogue. Well.
In the basement of Nemuro Memorial Hall, Rose Groom, who we learn is named Mamiya, is depressed because of the rain.
Oh, well, just
He's cultivating a new black rose, and it's going to be for, to quote Mikage, the deeply jealous queen and her retainer, or Nanami and Suwabuki.
yep. And,
He's just a boy. Oh, yes, he was a bit of a tough bud till yesterday, but I'll crack him, turn him into a nice evil swordsman.
I think that's like the whole scene, though, isn't it? Where he's like, "Oh, well, I guess we'll do that then," and then that's it. There's
Pretty much.
Yeah, there's nothing
Because
like fanciful going on. They're just like, "Oh, what are you gonna do? Turn him evil? Nice."
Well, I think usually it's like that, but this time because Mamiya's depressed, he's like, "You're terrible."
True. He does disapprove of him.
Yeah. Beauty alone will not get us the Rose Bride. I understand.
A-tier dialogue. This is what we're here for.
I accept your motivations, for they are my motivations too.
Then we are aligned, in a sense.
Suwabuki is watching adult movies in the school cinema.
Now, you say adult movies, okay? He's not
Movies
watching...
that will make him an adult.
Yes, but they're not adult movies so much as they're movies of adults.
It's like a montage of adults almost but not actually kissing each other.
Yeah, as in, like, you know, like Casablanca or any, like, rom-com where they're like, oh, they're kissing. But it's not, like, real... You know, it's not, like, the real shit, man. You know, you're not really, like... They're not invested in each other. They're just kind of...
He's like...
acting.
Oh, they're acting.
Yeah, but I don't think Suwabuki's clocked in.
Are the characters in this show acting too?
Is it acting if you're an animated character? Or is it just...
Who Framed Roger Rabbit would have us believe maybe.
Okay, weird. Rightio. I don't know where I stand on this. Can we make a poll to just sort out the answer to this question?
Well, the people who do the voicing is acting, certainly.
Well, yeah, they're acting, but what about
are the animators acting with their wrists and fingers?
That's it, right? Is it acting? Or is it something
reacting?
else? Ooh. The animators are reacting to the dead timeline. The dead timeline? The deadly timeline. That's the word I was going for.
Wait, what are you talking about?
I'm just saying that they're like unrealistic timelines on animation.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I thought you meant first I thought you meant the timeline in like an Adobe project.
Oh, yeah.
And then I thought you meant the dead timeline where we previously recorded this episode.
Ah, yes, the lost episode.
Yes.
Henceforth, it'll be known as the dead timeline.
Yes. The alternate timeline where we become famous and successful professional podcasters, cruelly snatched from us by
fate.
I don't know, Agent Smith.
I mean, that's the Matrix.
Yep.
But I'll allow
the Matrix.
I'll allow. You can have this one, all right? I don't have a problem with this reference, all right? It fits. It doesn't fit, you know, but like for the purposes of this, I'll say it fits, okay?
So this next exchange rules. So Mari comes in and is next to Suwabuki, and it's both of their faces, like looking forward at the screen in profile. And she says, "What are you doing?" And he says, "Seeing certain things."
Oh.
So I can be an adult.
Oh.
Why do you keep bugging me? Well, I just think that a guy who's had one real kiss is more of an adult than someone who's watched 100 kiss scenes.
And immediately after that, Suwabuki puts his hand on her hand.
Oh my god.
And then she kind of looks up and we see Suwabuki just like, come on, let's go.
Big cartoon smooch face.
Yeah, pursing his lips, and then we just hear a big slap sound.
So, crucially, she does say, "You're not stupid, but you're doing this all weird. You have to practice," which I'm sure he read as an invitation, but was being way too blatant.
Yeah, and then she runs out, and she's like, how dare you? No sense of subtlety.
Yeah.
And
you really are a child. And then Nanami's there.
Nanami's watching the whole thing. She heard the slap from a mile away.
Oh my god.
And as Mori's
Suwabuki's sulking
away,
in his room. He's thrown out the yellow lunchbox he makes Nanami's lunches in.
And then he goes to the chocolate and then just decides no. And throws that in the
He also
bin
has
as
a
well.
series of flashbacks about people saying, like, he's just a kid. Just a kid.
Just
a kid.
Just a kid. And then he hears a knock on the door. A rap-a-tap-tap.
Yeah, it's Nanami. What were you doing in the cinema today? I saw it. You were with a girl. You can't be with a girl. You're my property. You're my child butler.
And his response basically boils down to, it was no one. She was just a girl. I used to.
You like her, don't you? So what if I do? I'm small.
Is that the real dialogue.
Okay, he says, so what if I do? I'm still really small. I can't eat bitter things. That seminar's too hard for me to join. And even Mari's been giving me a hard time lately, saying you're a kid, so you don't understand. Why couldn't I be the same age as you? I want to be an adult. I want to do all the fun things adults do.
Like debt and tax.
This is an episode about puberty.
Yeah. I never went through that with puberty, though. I
I
just
thought you were going to say I never went through that.
Man, puberty. What a time. Never did it. Wasn't my scene, you know?
I went through puberty and, yep, not to brag.
Uh-huh.
But then I went through second puberty where someone pulled a sword out of me.
Oh, I get it. Right. You went through, what do they call it?
Transubstantiation.
I was going to say puberad, but that doesn't really work at all.
I don't really know what you're going for there,
Like
even.
puber radical, right? It's like radical in puberty, but like puberad.
That's not good.
Yeah,
Bad mouth feel
it just
on
sounds
that one.
like it just sounds like rad pubes, and I'm like, oh no. But you know, we're fine. So Suwabuki is like, goodbye, Nanami.
No.
It's like crying.
We can't gloss over this because I spent like 10 minutes trying to describe this shot
Okay,
in the
just
previous one.
describe
so I
me
want to
this
see
shot.
if I can do better.
Here,
So,
hit me with that art attack, okay?
This is an art attack. This is an art attack.
I'm having an art attack. And there's nothing
Oi,
you can do
governor!
to stop
I'm
me.
having an art attack. It's me, Speedwagon.
Hello, governor, I'm having an art attack.
I'm Banksy.
He's just drawing on a wall. It's like, Speedwagon, what are you doing? It's like, I'm making my fortune, I am. I'm having an art attack.
Famous anti-capitalist artist,
Someone
Speedwagon.
comes up to it. It's like, I'd like to buy that wall. It's like, oh, very well then, governor. And then his goons smash it with sledgehammers. And like, why would you do that? Speedwagon, art's transient. Didn't you hear, lad? I'm a real graffiti artist these days.
Don't you know?
Don't you know?
Okay,
Anyway, describe to me this scene as if you were on an episode of Art Attack.
The action is that Nanami says, don't be silly, puts her hand on his downcast head. You don't have to be an adult, you're fine the way you are now. Trying to be genuinely reassuring. But it's framed so that we're seeing... They're in a liminal space, but in the doorway of his room. So she's outside it on the threshold, he's inside on the threshold. So when she puts her hand on his head, it passes into his space and out of the framing of the shot that is her outside his room. And then we have a quick shot of the black rose being plucked. And then inside his room, her hand intruding into his world, which is dark and depressed because he's so unhappy. Because even though she's trying to be reassuring and make him feel better, she's actually reinforcing the very things that's causing him distress right now.
Yes.
Yes. So he goes to Nemuro Memorial Hall to get some counselling, because in the other episode we watched today, we found out that there are rumours that you can go there and get counselling, and that's why people keep going there.
So that answers that question. What it
Yes.
doesn't answer is the question of who's actually answering their, like, you know that the thing you tap and it makes the bell sound? The bell.
The bell?
You know,
Desk bell?
you know the desk bell?
You know that thing that you push buttons on and it makes a phone sound?
Oh, you mean a keyboard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know that thing you talk into when it makes a podcast sound?
Oh, you mean a nick?
Wait, that one doesn't work.
Wait, hang on.
Because you don't talk into a podcast and make a podcast. You talk into a microphone.
Yeah, that doesn't quite work.
Well, you defeated me. I'm going to crumble into shadows and returned from whence I came. Congratulations, Nick. The podcast is yours now.
Oh, this is exciting. Hey, everyone. Welcome to my math podcast.
Oh, no.
Nick's Numerals. How are you going? So today we're going to learn about the number 1, because this is the first episode. Did you know that if you multiply anything by 1, you get 1?
That
Oh,
doesn't
wait, no,
sound
that's not right. Shit, I need Liam. Oh, God.
Oh, now you crumble into dust and I'm back.
You just come back. It's like, that's right. I am the one that you need. It's like, oh, no.
Suwabuki, give us your therapy.
He's like, hey, I just
Really
wanna be
into
an
Nanami.
adult. Yeah, he's got a photo with her on it, I think.
Yeah, and it's a photo of her, like, from the waist up. And then he's just in the side of the frame from, like, his nose up. Like, a real great visual metaphor for his anxieties this episode.
So he's just basically like, yeah, I just wish I was older and I was an adult and that everyone respected me. Can't be respected without being an adult. I'm not good enough.
I thought I was happy to just be like her child butler, but now just being around her isn't enough for me anymore. And even Mari, my old friend's been making fun of me for being a kid lately. Quote, I want to be an adult and just kick over the whole world.
You know, I think on some level I can absolutely relate to that. But on multiple other levels, I don't know if I would want to kick over the world.
If the world is a sandcastle and you kick it over, you're going to have some problems.
Yeah.
That was nothing. I thought I had something, but that was nothing.
No, I think philosophically you've made something.
The lights flick off, Mikage's there, and he says, the path you must take has been prepared for you. And we kind of skip over the rest of his brainwash transition, because we know the drill by now.
We all know, he's there, he's doing his thing, everything's fine, but like,
So we're back in the cinema, and the Kiss movies are playing. Mm-hmm. And Suwabuki has called Nanami there, and we see a lot of shots of them silhouetted against the screen in this whole sequence. She sits down next to him. He puts his hand on hers in the cinema seats, and he's got a black rose ring on. And he's like, hey, why are you touching me? Sorry, she's like, hey, why are you touching me? Stop that.
And he gets the swords out of her.
Yeah, then she like stands upright, 90-degree back bend, and two swords come out of her chest, and then he's got two huge swords, and it's like, I'm an adult now.
God, it's so good. It's like...
Or, to be fair, he says, and with this, I will be an adult.
Which is the dopest possible thing you could say as a child holding swords, you know?
Having seized this enormous phallic symbol, I will become an adult.
Having grasped this saber, now I will become Saber Man, an adult being. That's right. I named myself differently. That's what adults do when they're old.
I don't understand this bit, Nick.
Like, legally, I can change my name to Saber Man.
I see.
You haven't seen any adult... What's the Power Rangers thing? Sentai?
Yeah, Sentai.
Yeah. Have you ever seen any child Sentai warriors? I didn't think so.
Probably.
Don't answer that question with anything other than no.
When you're an adult, when you accrue enough power, people have to agree with you.
When you're as old as I am, adults can't respect you. But when I will be wielding swords in the adult fashion, oh yeah.
That's the millennial story, baby.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so the rain has let up and Wakaba is annoyed because she finally brought her umbrella. This always happens. Then Utena opens her locker and inside her umbrella is the dual summons letter.
Which is quite funny.
Yep, quick shadow puppet play to skip it over it. The joke this time is that the shadow puppet lady is adopting the persona of a young girl who's just, quote, done it for the first time. What, you didn't tell your own father? I did it in a car. I'm an adult now. I was nervous, but I have no regrets. I just gave blood for the first time.
In a car.
You can give blood when you're 16. A proof of adulthood.
And then, the dueling arena. Dun, dun,
yep, the absolute Destiny apocalypse.
There we go. So,
like, it's so weird. It's so, like it's just...
Hang on, wait, grasp your words.
I know they're doing a character study thing with all the, like, really fleshing out the student council members via their relationships to other people, that some of which we know about already.
Yeah.
All of which we know about already?
Some.
All of them, I think.
I don't know. I'm not following this train of thought. You're the one making it.
We knew about Kozue, we knew about Shiori, we knew about Suwabuki. Yeah. They're fleshing out the student council members as characters via their relationships with other people who aren't Utena. But as a result of that, like, Utena feels like such an afterthought to the show in this season, because she's not trying
really
to figure
doing
out
anything.
this whole...
Yeah.
She's not trying to figure out the whole Rose Bride situation anymore.
She's not directly involved in the conflict or the tension arising from their struggles.
Yeah. She just has some chats and then gets a note to go sword fight someone every now and then.
And then she gets up there and she's like, oh, it's you.
Oh, it's you.
Speaking of, the dueling arena.
The dueling arena.
It's covered in desks which have... What were they called again?
I think it was Haniwa.
Hanewa, which is like a little... Screamo
Japanese
boy.
Statue that's buried with a dead body.
And they're all holding a bar of chocolate.
Yeah, and I think this is a symbol of what Suwabuki asserts as the death of his childhood.
Lit crit shit. Yep.
Yeah.
I get it.
Upon the Black Rose, I swear I shall win this duel. Then he attacks Utena before, like, she even draws her sword. Like, Really channeling that Nanami energy.
Yeah, real rude dude vibes this ep. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not the Suwabuki we know. Draw that sword out, alright? And she does like a whole little ritual this time and says, "Power of Dios that sleeps within me, heed your master and come forth." And then that sword comes out.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Every time we get that, it's so good.
Yep. It's time to duel, the bells.
It's time to duel!
Yep, they start dueling, and I think at one point Utena's like, "We don't have to do this."
Yeah, you and I have no reason to fight, she says. And, like, you're not wrong.
She's pretty on the money in that regard.
I will be an adult. What? Experience alone doesn't make you an adult. With that experience, a child must defeat an adult to become one himself. That's not true.
I don't know if this is some, like, Sith apprentice bullshit. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure you can just wait. You can just wait that shit out.
Utena pretty quickly does the prince thing. Like, Suwabuki is overextending himself with aggression, and then she just knocks one of his swords away, which smashes one of the statues in half. And as you pointed out, then there's another little statue inside it.
Yeah, he's like a nice little man. I think he's
I'm
not
looking at a photo of it now, actually. I missed it last time.
I think he's not holding any chocolate, though.
It looks like he catches the sword, which is, I think it feels like just a quick little joke to me.
Maybe it's like, reclaiming the childhood via adulthood.
Maybe.
It's never too late to die?
But then he keeps coming with just the dagger, but then Utena does a second jump attack, and like it looks like she's going to cut him in half for a sec.
Literally, when we saw it, we were like, "Oh fuck, is this going to get
God, Utena
dark?"
just murdered a child.
Well,
But no, then she just cuts the black rose off, he falls, and a body goes into the evil furnace.
They didn't succeed again.
Oh, God, they've only got like 94 or 96
People left to burn.
dead bodies left.
That's not good rates. Not good rates.
I don't know, in XCOM I'd take a 96% chance. Granted I'd miss, but...
Yeah, but that's why you lose. I would wait for that 99.99, Yeah. So I think it very quickly wraps up after this.
Yeah,
Because-
so Nanami is walking to school, Suwabuki passes, she blushes at him, is like, "Oh, why am I blushing at a child?"
We went over this last another episode, and it's not any better
Very
now.
uncomfortable. And then Mari runs past, and Suwabuki sees her and runs off to be with her. And Nanami is like, he sure is young.
End of episode. Not even joking.
Yes.
That's the end of the episode. That's where we leave it.
Well, he's like rediscovered like a normal childhood, it seems like.
Not like me. But yeah, no, it seems like a nice ending for him. He's like, "Goodbye, Nanami," but probably not like goodbye. Probably just like, eh.
Sayonara.
Yeah, sayonara and farewell. But not farewell. Yeah.
And then in the other timeline, then we talked about the next episode, but we'll do that next week now.
Yep, because life is rough.
Life finds a way to ruin your plans, no matter what you do.
Now, I already know what my highlight is, though, because I picked it this morning.
Okay.
My highlight is Suwabuki wielding the two swords and saying, "With this, I shall become an adult."
That was
It
pretty
is
good.
the most amazing fucking thing ever. Just him standing there wielding like, "Oh yeah. Oh,
These two
yeah.
Nanami swords.
Here we fucking go, boys. Party's on now."
Looks like meat's back on the menu, boys.
I've shown you that video where it's that scene from Lord of the Rings, but with normal voices. Oh.
No, I think you might have actually. Yeah,
Yeah, it's like, "Oh, look, meat's back on the menu, boys." Oh, great. Yeah, love it. So good. Anyway, what's your highlight, Liam? What's your highlight?
I think my highlight from this morning was in the other episode.
Yeah, so you're really going to struggle with this one.
I think my highlight from this episode was the student council meeting.
Nicely framed, good colours.
Nicely framed. I liked the way the colours of their key character colours popped against the grey skies and were complemented by their themed umbrellas. And I kind of just appreciate that these guys who were the antagonists of the last arc are like, so we really need to figure out what's going on because we're not the main characters anymore.
It does seem a bit odd that they're just suddenly like, relegated to the sidelines. But
We're not getting our letters from End of the World anymore. Could it be because we all failed consistently?
no, come on now. That's loser talk. Lowlight.
Well, I can go with the same low light as earlier, which was the weird bit where Nanami's blushing at Suwabuki. Like, you're not allowed... He's allowed to have an innocent, childish crush on you, and, like, within a fictional story, you're also allowed to turn him into your butler as a result, but you're not allowed to be into him.
Look, there's a level. There's a level of acceptance here, and that's not it.
Yeah.
We're gatekeeping this hard, okay? I'm willing to die on this bridge.
Yeah, we're gatekeeping falling in love with children.
I want to say my lowlight is probably just Utena. No. Probably my lowlight is probably just gonna be Suwabuki with his mad strat of, oh, but if I just kiss her, I'll be an adult. It's like, I get it. I understand it. Buddy. Buddy. I don't want to.
Buddy, you need a good role model in your life.
Yeah, I don't want to be subjected to this if I don't have to be. This is too awkward. It really just cuts down to the bone, you know? Yeah. No subtlety. Now, we would do predictions, but we know what's going to happen because we've already
made predictions.
Yeah. So we're just going to leave that for a while.
Yeah, but suffice to say, the next episode has what I consider a very surprising 11th hour twist.
Which is
and then
great.
a very, very gratifying 12th hour cliffhanger. So look forward to that.
God damn it. Now I remember what that cliffhanger is, and I'm not happy. I'm not pleased. I mean, I am, but I'm not like, yeah. You know me. Anyway.
I sure do.
Yeah.
And I think that means it's time to duel. That's right, Nick, I'm coming at you through your computer.
Oh, fuck. Cool. If you would like to support us on Patreon, you can go.
.com/JoJo's World.
You can go to www.patreon.com/JoJo's We don't really do much, but we do what we can.
Here's a little tech tip for the hackers and cyberpunks out there. You don't even need the www.
Excuse me? What the fuck is that? What? Get the hang on, I don't believe you. Hang on, let me just... Mother of God. You've blown this thing wide open, Liam. This is... Oh my God. This is going to be life-changing. But just for safety, use www anyway, you crazy hackers.
For a bit of, just on a whim, unaffiliated promotional material.
Go on.
If you're into tabletop RPGs, check out the newly released Hardwired Island about cyberpunks in space.
Ooh. Have you been reading that all day?
No.
Will you be reading it more tonight?
Maybe.
Come on. You can tell me, mate. You can bloody tell me.
And until next time.
To be continued.
To be continued. Kind of. Because we know what happens.
Yeah, we already know. But to be continued anyway.